Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Let's start to solve weekend number one, weekend sheet number one. Choose the correct answer. Number one, the smell property is a distinguishing factor between what? Between iron and copper, or between vinegar and perfume, or between wood and plastic, or silver and iron. So the smell property, it's a distinguishing factor between vinegar and perfume. Between vinegar and perfume. Number two, the mass of the water in gram is always what? Each volume in cubic centimeter, knowing that the density of the water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So the mass is equal to its volume, to give you the density 1 gram per cubic centimeter. Number three, when the substance sinks in water, this means that its density is what? Density is more than. So the density, if any substance, its density is more than the density of the water, so this substance sinks in water. But if the density of the substance less than the density of the water, so this substance floats on the water. Number four, metals have all the following properties except they what? Metals have what? Metals are good conductor of electricity, or good conductor of heat, or have high melting point, or they are bad conductor of electricity. So metals have all the following except they are bad conductor of electricity, because the metals are good conductor of electricity. Number five, among elements which have a great difficulty to react with oxygen of air is what? Is potassium, or sodium, or aluminum, or chromium? The answer is chromium. Why? Because the chromium is inactive letters. They have great difficulty to react with oxygen of the earth. But potassium and sodium, they are very active. They react rapidly with the oxygen in the air. But aluminum and iron and copper, they are less active. They need several days to react with the oxygen. Here, put right or wrong. Number one, density equal mass times volume. No, this is wrong. Density equal mass divided volume. Number two, wood floats on water surface and it has higher density than that of water. No, wood has less density than the water, so it floats on the earth, float on the water surface. Number three, each substance have a definite melting point. Definite melting point and definite boiling point, yes, because this is substance. The melting point and boiling point is a specific functions or a specific property for each substance. Number four, electric cables are made up of copper and aluminum. Yes, this is right. Number five, when iron is exposed to air, iron or aluminum or copper, when it exposed to air, it rusts after several days. Yes, because they are less active. They need several days to react with the oxygen. Here, complete the following. Number one, the melting point. The melting point is the temperature at which the matter begins to change from what state into a what state? Begins to change from solid state to into liquid state. Number 2, what is one of solid substances? One of solid substances which appear soft at room temperature, like rubber. Rubber appears soft at room temperature, while what and what don't become soft by heating. By heating, like coal and sulfur. Coal and sulfur don't become soft by heating. Number 3, what are good conductors of electricity and heat? Give me any examples that good conductors of electricity and heat, like iron and aluminum, and also like copper. All of this. And copper are good conductor of electricity and good conductor of heat. While what and what are bad conductors of electricity and heat? What and what bad conductors like wood or plastic are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Number 4, active metals lose their what? Lose their metallic luster. Lose their metallic luster when they are exposed to humid air. They are exposed to the humid air. Number 5, what and what are very active metals? Give me 2 examples about very active metals. Very active, like sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium, they are very active metals, while what and what are inactive? They have great difficulty to react with the oxygen, like gold and silver and platinum and chromium and nickel. All of these are inactive metals. Give reason here. Balloon filled with the hydrogen or helium rises up in the air carrying the flags during festivals. Why? Because the density of hydrogen and helium is less than densities, so are less than the density of water, so they rises up. Sorry, air density of air rises up in the air. Okay, here question number 2. Iron rods, not copper rods, are used in building the concrete houses. Why we use the iron, not copper? Why? Because the hardness of the iron is more than that of copper. Because iron, or the hardness hardness of iron is more than or larger than is more than that of aluminum or copper. Number 3, gold and silver and platinum are used in making jewels. Why? Why we use gold and silver? Because they are chemically poor active. Because they are chemically, they don't react with the oxygen, chemically poor active, so they keep their luster, their metallic luster, their luster for a long time, Okay, last questions. What happened when using water to extinguish petrol fires? What happens if I use the water to extinguish the petrol fires so the fires don't put out? Why? Because the petrol floats on the water surface, floats on the water surface. So fires don't put out or don't extinguish. What happens when decreasing the volume of the body to have according to its density or increasing the mass into double? What happens? So the density remains constant because the density is a fixed constant or fixed or constant. So the density remains constant or fixed because it's a fixed value. Okay, thank you, middle one. Goodbye.